Hi, we are Group 4. Today, we will explore how Poka Yoke works, its different types, and how its application can lead to higher efficiency, safety, and quality in any process. So, let's begin with part 1. We will provide you some general information about this method. Let's dive into the definition. Poka Yoke is a Japanese term meaning mistake proofing or error proofing. It refers to techniques or tools used to reduce human error in manufacturing and service processes. Poka Yoke's main objective is to make sure that errors are either stopped from happening or identified before they cause flaws or issues, so enhancing efficiency and quality. It has 3 basic functions: shutdown, control, and warning. Also, we have discovered the origin and historical development. In the 1960s, Poka Yoke was introduced to Japan as a component of the Toyota production system. It started out with basic mechanisms meant to stop mistakes in manufacturing procedures. These days, these ideas are applied far beyond manufacturing sector to improve quality and efficiency, prevent errors, and develop software. This shows a move away from error detection and toward a process design that completely eliminates errors. So why Poka Yoke is important in quality management? Because it emphasizes error prevention rather than post-mortem error detection and correction. By taking a proactive stance, procedures are made to be error-proof, which helps to improving quality, improving efficiency, minimizing waste, improving safety. Finally, is promoting continuous improvement. Poka Yoke is frequently used to increase quality and efficiency in a variety of fields. It is used in the automotive industry for maintenance and quality assurance. Poka Yoke ensures the correct use of the surgical instruments and help prevent medication errors in the healthcare industry. It is used by the service sector to improve process management and prevent building errors. In software development, it prevents users and coding errors, while retail uses it for accurate inventory and sales processing.
In this section, we introduce the theoretical basis of Poka Yoke. Firstly, let's explore its 6 principles. The first principle is elimination, means don't do it anymore. This principle is to eliminate the possibility of error by redesigning the product or process so that the task or part is no longer necessary. Next, the second principle is prevention. Here, making sure it can never be done wrong by designing and engineering the product or process so that it's impossible to make a mistake at all. The third one is replacement. It's all about using something better, which means that to substitute a more reliable process to improve consistency. The fourth principle is facilitation, which means making tasks easier to perform. When processes are too complex, mistakes are more likely. And facilitation is to employ techniques and to combine steps to make work easier. The next one is detection, noticing what's going wrong and stopping it. Even the best system can encounter issues, so this principle is to identify an error before further processing occurs so that the users can quickly correct the problem. And finally, we have mitigation. Don't let the situation get too bad. So, Poka Yoke principle tells us to avoid the occurrence of mistakes, but when the mistakes do happen, detection and mitigation help minimize their effect. Poka Yoke is categorized into 2 types. The first one is prevention-based Poka Yoke, which acts before an error can occur. The second type is a detection-based Poka Yoke, which signals the users when a mistake has been made so that the users can quickly correct the problem. And to implement the Poka Yoke, we can use a variety of devices such as guide beam, limit switching, contact sensor, counter, alarm, or checklist. Poka Yoke operates under 2 different approaches of error prevention, which are control and warning. The first approach is control. This one aims to make it mechanically impossible for mistakes to occur. It shuts down the process when an error occurs. Unlike the control approach, the warning approach signals the occurrence of an error, often using alarms or lights or other devices. Both the control and warning approaches can utilize 3 effective methods to detect and prevent error. The first method is contact method. This method detects any deviation in shapes, dimensions, form, position, or other physical characteristics through mechanisms that are kept in direct contact with the part. The contact method can be used in situations of repetition, environmental problems such as poor lighting, critical temperature, dust, and noise that makes it difficult to determine up or down, back or front, or left or right. Life safety curtains are commonly used in production areas to detect when a worker's hand or object enters a hazardous area. When the light curtain is breached, it triggers flashing lights and immediately stops the machine, preventing potential injury or accidents. Second method is fixed value method, which employs automatic counters to alert the machine operator if the number of items, movements, or events in a followed or made. A packaging system to control the number of items packaged. The third method is motion step method, which determines whether a defined sequence of operation has been followed. This method is useful for processes requiring several different activities performed in sequence by a single operator. When using an ATM, the machine will only dispense cards after the card is removed. This process prevents users from forgetting their ATM card. We continue to how we can implement Poka Yoke. There are 7 steps to successfully implement Poka Yoke. The first step is to observe our processes closely and identify any potential errors that could lead to defects or quality issues. We use tools like process mapping to break down each step, then brainstorming on the possible errors that can occur in that process. After identifying error, the next step is to prioritize the areas where implementing Poka Yoke will have the most impact by considering error frequencies, severity, and implementation costs. To help with this, we use tools like Pareto chart or histograms, then continue to analyze root causes to find the suitable solutions to solve problems entirely. Tools such as the Firewise and the FMEA to develop effective Poka Yoke strategies start by considering mistake-proofing principles aimed at preventing or detecting errors at the source. Choose the appropriate solution based on the specific requirement of your process. After identifying whether a control or warning Poka Yoke is appropriate for the situation, select the best device or method to apply the solution. Next, training and educating employees is essential for Poka Yoke to succeed. Everyone involved in the process needs to understand how these techniques work and how to use them effectively. Once implementing Poka Yoke, you must monitor its performance closely by gathering feedback from operators and making necessary adjustments to ensure the solutions are working as intended. Poka Yoke is not a one-time implementation. It's a continuous improvement journey. You need to regularly review the effectiveness of the solutions and look for the opportunities to expand them into other areas of the process using the Kaizen philosophy.
Now we move on to the next part, which is benefits of Poka Yoke. Firstly, it assures the first piece of quality, which means Poka Yoke ensures that the first item made is correct from the start. Secondly, it assures consistency during setups, which means it keeps things consistent every time you start a new task or set up a process. The third benefit is that Poka Yoke prevents production of defective parts. It means the Poka Yoke will stop mistakes before they happen, preventing defective items from being made. Another benefit is that Poka Yoke makes quality problems more visible because it highlights the problems immediately so they can be fixed right away. Next one is Poka Yoke creates a safer work environment, which is it reduces human errors that can lead to accidents. Next one is Poka Yoke eliminates waste of inspection and repair by catching errors early. It will reduce the need to check and fix problem later. Poka Yoke also lowers cost of design and manufacture, like simple error-proofing design are cheaper and reduce overall production costs. Poka Yoke also have some limitations. First one is the initial investment. It set up the Poka Yoke system can be expensive at first because you need to spend money on new equipment, technology, and training
which can be a problem for small businesses with tight budgets. The second one is complexity. Creating and adding Poka Yoke solutions can be complicated because in businesses with many steps and processes, figuring out how to use Poka Yoke effectively can be a little bit tricky and might slow things down. The third one is resistance to change. So the employees might resist Poka Yoke because they're used to their current ways of working and they might see it as extra work or hassle. So it's important to communicate and train them well to get their support. Poka Yoke also make us overly reliant because relying too much on Poka Yoke can make employees less careful and ignore other ways to improve quality. It's important not to depend solely on Poka Yoke and still focus on overall process improvements. The applicability constraints is that Poka Yoke might not work for every type of production or industry because some processes might be too unique or variable, so other quality control methods might be needed. So we have a board here to show the differences between Poka Yoke and ISO 9001. So first one, the Poka Yoke definition. It is a powerful lean manufacturing tool that refers to mistake-proofing a process. Instead of that, ISO 9001 is defined as an international standard for quality management system. Poka Yoke focus on preventing mistakes and defect the sources through design or process changes. The ISO 9001 is broad and systematic approach to quality management. For the scope of Poka Yoke, is applied to individual processes or tasks within a product line. ISO 9001 will apply to the entire organization. For the outstanding point of Poka Yoke, we first talk about simplicity and specificity. Poka Yoke focus on specified practical solution to prevent errors at a particular point in the process. Its solutions are often straightforward and easy to implement. And for Poka Yoke, it defines the error to prevent it, and quality management is better than the ISO 9001 because Poka Yoke directly targets and prevents mistakes in the process, providing immediate feedback or correction to avoid defects. Another one is the cost and resources intensity of Poka Yoke. It often requires a lower initial investment as it involves simple tools and methods to prevent errors. It can be more cost-effective for specific processes. And another outstanding point of Poka Yoke is its immediate impact because Poka Yoke can provide immediate improvements by directly addressing and preventing specific errors.
Part 3. Illustrative examples. The first Poka Yoke applications is from Toyota. At Toyota, during an assembly process that required two springs to be installed into a small switch on the car, workers often made the mistake of forgetting to install one spring. To prevent this error, Single developed a simple production process requiring workers to place both springs in a holding tray and then move the tray to assembly station. With this method, if the worker forgot to install the spring, they would notice that there was an extra one remaining in the tray and could quickly correct the error before the product was completed. Car safety features is another example of this one. These include seatbelt reminders that alert occupants when they are not buckled up, warning when a car door is open while driving, warning and automatic emergency braking system that detect obstacles to apply the brake if necessary. Elevator overload system. They use sensors to monitor the weight inside the elevator. If weight exceeds the maximum limit, the system prevents the elevator from moving and triggers an alert. This ensures the elevator operates safely and avoid overloading.
Now we move to the part 4, application in business. There is a list of specific industries that can benefit from Poka Yoke, include manufacturing, pharmaceutical, food and beverage, construction, healthcare, automotive, household appliance, and sporting equipment. In manufacturing, this is the most common application that Poka Yoke have in reducing defect and improving efficiency in various manufacturing processes. In pharmaceutical, it ensures the accuracy and safety of medication dispensing. In food and beverage, it helps in maintaining consistency and quality in food production. In construction, it reduces error in construction projects. In healthcare, it enhances patient safety. In automotive, it ensures the correct assembly of parts. In household appliance, it improves the safety and functionality of appliance. And the last one is sporting equipment. It enhances the safety and performance of sport equipment. And the next one is the necessary condition for effectively implementing Poka Yoke in the business system. There is 7 conditions that are needed. First one is identifying the critical process. Focus on process where errors are most likely to occur or have the most significant impact. This helps prioritize areas that will benefit the most from mistake proofing. The next one is understand the root cause. It conducts a thorough analysis to understand the root cause by error. This often involves techniques like the 5 why or root cause analysis. The third one is employee involvement. Engage employees who are directly involved in the process. Their insights are invaluable for identifying potential errors and practical solutions. The fourth one is simple and effective solutions. You should design solutions that are easy to implement and understand. The goal is to make it nearly impossible for error to occur. The next one is continuous improvement. Poka Yoke should be part of a broader continuous improvement culture. Regularly review and update mistake-proofing measures to adapt to change in process or new type of error. Next one is training and awareness. You should ensure that all the employees are trained on the importance of mistake-proofing and how to use the implemented solutions. Last but not least, monitoring and feedback. We need the implement system to monitor the effectiveness of Poka Yoke solution and gather feedback from employees. We move to the next part is proposing strategy or method for deploying Poka Yoke in a business, considering factors such as resources, time, and cost. There are 8 methods that we propose. First is develop a detailed implementation plan. There are 3 steps. Define clear goal, assign responsibility, and timeline and milestone. The second one is engage stakeholder. There includes 2 steps. First is involve key personnel, and the next one is communicate effectively. The third method we propose is resource allocation that help budget planning and human resources. The fourth method we propose is training and support. We need comprehensive training program and ongoing support. The fifth method is pilot testing. Include small-scale pilot, which start with a pilot program and the feedback loop. We collect feedback from pilot used to refine an implementation process. The sixth method is monitor and evaluate. We need performance metrics and regular review. The seventh method is adopt the suitable implementation model. The McKinsey's 7S framework, the quarter step tank model, and the last is PDCA. And the last one is risk management. We need identifying risks and mitigation strategy.
And now, we will present recommendations for implementing Poka Yoke in the service industry. Here's an example of how a restaurant could utilize Poka Yoke to improve service quality. To begin with, the restaurant should identify potential human errors by creating a flowchart that maps out the entire process. This is the process flowchart of the restaurant. From here, specific points where errors could occur are identified. After gathering feedback data from customers or reviewing workloads, the restaurant should prioritize addressing errors based on the severity and frequency. For instance, assume the restaurant has to prioritize handling the errors as follows. The first priority is materially missing customers at the entrance. The second one is serving the wrong dishes. The third one is condiment confusion. Next, the root causes of the errors should be analyzed by using the FMEA analysis. For the errors of materially missing customers, the materially may be occupied with sitting other customers, checking table statuses, or communicating with kitchen. The errors of serving wrong dishes happens due to the miscommunication between the kitchen and the wait staff. And finally, the condiment confusion happens because the restaurant used the away bottles for different types of spices, leading them to use wrong condiment. The sensor sends a signal to a vibrating ledger worn by a maitre, ensuring they are always aware when someone enters or leaves the restaurant. The second error is facilitated with a digital ordering system with confirmation, where customers and staff must confirm orders on a screen. Finally, the restaurant introduced color-coded bottles. The simple visual cue helps the customers instantly identify the correct condiment, preventing mistakes. Then, provide comprehensive training, applying the Poka Yoke solutions, monitor the system, and finally, The restaurant also need to schedule meetings with staff to discuss improvements and integrate new ideas. To wrap up, let's quickly recap what we covered about Poka Yoke. Poka Yoke is a mistake-proofing technique and at preventing human errors, and can be applied to both new processes and improvement the existing ones. It works into 2 approaches and 3 methods. You can apply the 7 steps of Poka Yoke. Poka Yoke is essential for maintaining consistent quality and creating reliable, efficient production processes. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed the video. Thanks for listening.